Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to call to order the regular meeting of the Elmwood Park Mayor and Council for May 16, 2019 to order at 8:00 p.m. On roll call, Council members Balistrary.
Here.
Dombrowski.
Here.
Ingri. Here. Pellegrin.
Here.
Wetchler. Here. Council President and Acting Mayor Golombek.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Can everyone please rise for our prayer and flag salute? O God, our Father, we ask you to bless our meeting, which we entrust to your fatherly care and protection. Please remove all selfishness and prejudice from our hearts and implant therein a keen sense of justice and a greater love for you and our neighbor. Guide us in our deliberations so that our decisions will always please you and bring peace and happiness in our community. Amen. Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Whereas Chapter 231 of the Public Laws of the State of New Jersey requires at the commencement of every meeting a statement of compliance be read by the presiding officer. Now therefore be advised that the meeting requirements for this meeting have been met by publishing a special meeting notice in the Record and Herald News and by posting such notice in the office of the Borough Clerk as well as in a public place within the municipal building, and by notifying interested citizens. Said notice was posted on January 7th, 2019. Ladies and gentlemen, this meeting is being videotaped and will be on Cablevision on Channel 77 on Mondays at 3 p.m., Thursdays at 11:30 a.m., and Fridays at 10 a.m. The video will also be available on the borough's website at www.elmwoodparknj.us. Madam Clerk?
Under the approval of minutes this evening, we have the January 10, 2019 executive session, January 31st, 2019 emergency meeting, February 7, 2019 executive session, February 14, 2019 work session, and executive session meeting minutes.
May I have a motion on those minutes?
So moved. Second.
Wetchler, Pellegrin. Call the roll, please.
On roll call, council members Balistrary.
Yes.
Dombrowski.
Yes.
Ingri. Yes. Pellegrin.
Yes.
Wetchler.
Yes.
Council President and Acting Mayor Golombek.
Yes.
Motion carries. Moving on to resolutions. Resolution R-181-19, resolution to fill the mayoral vacancy, whereas on April 29, 2019, Acting Borough Clerk Erin N. Delaney received a resignation letter from Mayor Francesco A. Garamagna, effective April 30, 2019, creating a vacancy in the mayoral seat. And whereas the Elmwood Park Democratic Municipal Committee submitted 3 nominees to fill the vacancy on the Elmwood Park Mayor and Council on May 9, 2019, which fell within the 15-day period in which nominees must be submitted to the municipal clerk as prescribed by NJSA 40A 16-11. Whereas the 3 Democratic nominees are Sandra Balistrary, Daniel Golombek, and Lorraine Pellegrin. Now therefore be it resolved, the council does hereby select, and at this time, Acting Mayor, I will need a nomination of one of those 3 names.
I nominate Councilman Acting Mayor Daniel Golombek.
And I second that.
First for Daniel Golombek by Balistrary and second by Pellegrin of Daniel Golombek to fill the mayoral vacancy commencing immediately to serve the remainder of Francesco A. Garamagna's unexpired term through December 31st, 2019. Again, first by Councilmember Balistrary, second by Councilmember Pellegrin. We will proceed with the roll call or have a discussion.
Are there any other nominations? Close the nominations. Please proceed to a roll call.
Council members Balistrary.
Yes.
Dombrowski.
Absolutely, yes.
Ingri.
Yes.
Pellegrin.
Yes.
Wetchler.
Yes.
Council President and Acting Mayor Golombek.
Yes.
Motion carries. At this time, I would like to call Acting Mayor Golombek to the dais alongside his family to be sworn in as the mayor of the Borough of Elmwood Park.
Daniel Golombek,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the same
to the same
and to the governments established
and to the governments established
in the United States
in the United States
and in this state
and in this state
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly
and justly
perform all the duties
perform all the duties
of the office
of the office of
Mayor
Mayor
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations.
If I may, Ms. Delaney, I'd like to, the council would maybe like to make some
After-
comments.
Councilman, we'll do it after the
We could do that
council
then, too.
presidency. Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, with my being appointed to the mayor's seat, that leaves a vacancy of the council presidency, and that's a vacancy we can fill here tonight for the remainder of 2019. So at this time, I'd like to ask the council for nominations to the position of council presidency for the remainder of the 2019 calendar year.
Mayor Golombek, at this time, I would like to nominate Councilwoman Lorraine Pellegrin.
And I will second that.
We have a nomination of Councilwoman Pellegrin by Councilwoman Ingwe and seconded by Councilman Wetchler. Are there any other nominations? We will close nominations at this time. Ms. Delaney, please call the roll.
Yes, being that this is in addition to the agenda, this will be Resolution R-208-19, whereas a nomination was made by Councilmember Ingwe and seconded by Councilmember Wetchler to name Councilmember Pellegrin as council president. Now therefore be it resolved that Councilmember Pellegrin is hereby named the council president for the remainder of the year of 2019.
Call the roll, please.
Oh, sorry, I jumped ahead. On roll call, council members Ballasheri,
Yes.
Dombrowski.
Yes.
Ingwe.
Yes.
Pellegrin.
Yes.
Wetchler.
Yes.
Motion carries. Will Council President Pellegrin please come forward to be sworn in as council president alongside her family? Raise your right hand.
Okay, raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name,
I, Lorraine Pellegrin,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the same
to the same
and to the governments established
and to the governments established
in the United States
in the United States
and in this state
and in this state
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
that I will faithfully,
that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly
and justly
perform all the duties
perform all the duties
of the office of
of
Council President
Council President
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
At this time, if any council members have any remarks, we'd entertain those.
Sure.
Councilman Dombrowski, would you like to go first?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. First of all, ladies and gentlemen, with Mayor Golombek now being sworn in over the last 2.5 years, I have now served under 5 different mayors. And Elmwood Park hasn't seen a change one way or the other. And I will tell you that the future of Elmwood Park is just as good as it was 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 10 years ago, 5 years ago, or so on. Dan, I have had the pleasure to know you since you were, as I said many a times as a child growing up playing baseball, coached you. This town is so lucky to have Dan as our acting mayor, as our mayor, excuse me, because Dan has, since his, I would say you're either 12 or 13 years old, has been to every council meeting, including work sessions, and the ones that he's missed, you can count on your one hand. So Dan is 24 now, if I'm not mistaken, correct? Okay. So for 11 years, the young man has been to almost every council, probably more council meetings than most councilmen that have ever served. My point is that he knows town government, he knows county government, and he certainly understands state government. And I can honestly say, Dan, that this town is in great hands with you acting as our mayor. And just to give you a for instance, the type of person that Dan is somebody had posted on Facebook this week about the recreation going to be being closed while Mola Boulevard was being paved. And some parents were very concerned and very upset, saying, well, what do I do with my kid now after school? You know, this isn't our fault, but, you know, what are we supposed to do with our kids? Well, Dan took it upon himself immediately and got that turned around where the rec department will be open for after school. And that just goes to show the type of man that that Dan is and the type of mayor that he will be. And again, I could not be more pleased to serve under you as my 5th mayor in 2.5 years. Congratulations.
Councilwoman Ingwe?
Okay, I also want to congratulate Mayor Golombek on his appointment tonight. I am very proud of you. As a colleague, you're helping to guide and teach me the ins and outs of politics. You've proven yourself to be a leader at the extremely old age of 24. You've taught me to look for the facts because that is what matters. As a friend, you make me laugh, you pay attention when I speak, and you are there to answer my thousands of questions. You make it a pleasure for me to call you my friend. I wish you nothing but the best of luck as you lead this community. I also want to thank your amazing mother and father for raising 2 boys who have given so much back to their community and are just outstanding people. Congratulations, Dan.
I just want to congratulate you, Mayor Golombek, and I wish you much success in your new role. We are a team, and we're all here to support you with anything that you may need. We all want what's best for Elmwood Park, and I look forward to working together with you and to moving Elmwood Park forward. And I want to also congratulate your family. They're always here for all of us, and this must be a wonderful night for them to see you achieve this goal. So I wish you the best of luck, and again, we're here to do anything you need, any help you may need, and we're a team, and we will get through everything together. Thank you.
Councilwoman Ballesteri?
I'd like to congratulate my colleague Daniel Golombek in being selected by the council for the mayor's vacancy for the remainder of the year. As he worked very closely with the mayor and our BA as the president, I am confident he will have a smooth transition into his new role and will continue the progress moving forward. He first campaigned with me when he was only 15, and his first election he was involved in. I have to say, he encouraged me with outstanding influence then that proved to me he would be the asset he is to our borough today. I also want to congratulate my colleague Lorraine Pellegrin as she now fills the president's seat. I know she will do a fine job in her new position. Her positive attitude makes her a strong leader. I look forward to continue working with her on many upcoming projects.
Thank you.
Councilwoman Wetchler?
Dan, I met you when I sat on the Board of Education. When you come up there every month and state what you said this town needed, the Board of Education needed, and you showed everybody on that board what we needed for the future. I sat on the library board. You came and you fought with us
for the Wi-Fi. If it wasn't for you coming up to the Board of Education and the library and now the council, your excellence and everything that you have shown this town, what we need to go into the 21st, 22nd century. I can't be prouder than your parents are because you worked very hard for this day and you deserve it. Lorraine, I've known you since we sat on the board together. You're your family and everybody. Congratulations too. I know we're a family, and that's what I tell you all the time.
Yep.
This is a family, and this family sticks together through thick and thin. Congratulations, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for your kind words. They truly mean a lot. I'd first like to start off by congratulating my colleague, Council President Lorraine Pellegrin, on getting this role. Before I actually went to meetings as a young child, I watched meetings as a young child, believe it or not. And Councilwoman Pellegrin, who was on the council between 2005 and 2008, always impressed me to the point where I would actually send her emails pretending to be an older person with other issues in town. And I saw her passion for the town then, and I still see it now. And, you and I are going to work very closely together as mayors and council presidents should, and we will work closely together as a unit. Briefly, I just want to thank my family for coming out tonight. Always supportive in this, interesting and unique path that I've taken as a young person. My friends for their continued support. All the residents and borough employees and other elected officials that reached out in the last few weeks after this role was thrust upon me. We have here tonight 2 elected officials from neighboring towns who were one of the first to reach out and offer their best wishes. Prospect Park Mayor Mohammed Karula, thank you so much for your kind words. Deputy Mayor of Garfield, Joe Delaney, thank you so much for your support and encouragement. My good friend, the Borough Administrator of Prospect Park, Intishan Chowdhury, who is one of the youngest borough administrators in the history of New Jersey, always a good friend, always supportive. I appreciate you a lot. One of the first things I said when I became acting mayor is the most important thing for us is to continue the business of the borough. We have 20,000 residents that rely on services, that rely on our competency, that rely on our drive and passion to make their lives better every single day. It's no secret that in the last few years, the politics in Elmwood Park have gotten very polarizing for one reason or another, something that I can't find the solution to. But we are a small town of 20,000 people. We are far too small to be at each other's throats. I will serve as mayor to solely and only move this town forward in a progressive direction, whether that's our quality of life, whether that's safety issues, whether that's the condition of our streets, the condition of our education system. When we enter these 4 walls, whether it's in this room or in this back room, there will be no politics coming from this end. There will be none of that fighting each other, fighting resident against resident to make one look better and someone else look smaller. We have business to do. I think we all can realize that this town has much room to grow. And even if we give 1,000%, we still won't see the results tomorrow. It's going to take several years of consistent and hard work for us to achieve the Elmwood Park that we have always wanted. We live in a beautiful town. We live in a town that we can be proud of, but we cannot be complacent and say we've reached enough. And that is a statement I think many, many people can agree with. I will serve with integrity, I will serve with honesty, and my door will always be open to any resident with any concern of any kind. We are here to do business, we are here to do the work of the people, and that's what we're going to focus on when we're within these 4 walls and the 4 walls behind us during work sessions. I am honored to work with a very hard-working council, with a very hard-working administration in front of us, and we truly do have long lists of projects that we have started and want to start. And we will continue to work on those projects, and we will not stop until our work is done and until Elmwood Park is the beautiful gem of Bergen County that we have always wanted it to be. Thank you all. At this time, I would like just to take a brief recess, and we can reconvene in about 3 minutes. Thank you all.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to call back to order the regular meeting of the Elmwood Park Mayor and Council for May 16th at 8:28 PM. On roll call, council members Balistrary.
Here.
Dombrowski.
Here.
Ingwe.
Here.
Wetchler.
Here.
Council President Pellegrin.
Here.
Mayor Golombek.
Here.
We have a quorum. Okay, as we begin our agenda again tonight, we have a special presentation, Resolution R-182-19, acknowledging participants of the 2018 through 2019 Resident Assistance Program, otherwise known as RAP. Whereas in 2018, the Borough of Elmwood Park Mayor and Council established the Resident Assistance Program through Council Liaison Councilwoman Lorraine Pellegrin, and whereas the RAP program aims to assist elderly and/or disabled residents in addition to other residents in need, and whereas in order to be successful and seamlessly operate, the RAP program requires the assistance of volunteers and charitable donations, and whereas the Mayor and Council of the Borough of Elmwood Park would like to recognize and publicly thank all of those individuals involved in making the first year of the program a successful one. Now therefore be it resolved that the Mayor and Council of the Borough of Elmwood Park would like to hereby recognize and formally express their gratitude to all participants.
At this time, I'll take a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Wetchler and Pellegrin. Is there any discussion on this resolution?
I'd like to please read something. The Residents Assistance Program was started last year. This program helps Elmwood Park residents in need. Tonight, we are honoring the volunteers that helped with our senior citizens and disabled residents with the leaf removal and snow removal. Also, this program was able to help feed 100 families in need for the holiday season. A toy drive was able to help supply toys and gift cards to these families. This was all possible because of the donations from our local businesses, our families, friends, and our residents. Our businesses were honored at a breakfast in February, and all were given thank you certificates. I thank my council colleagues for believing in this program and my vision so that together we can help those in need. A special thank you to Morella Hernandez, the RAP coordinator, who worked so hard with me to make this program a reality and a success. Also, a special thank you to former Mayor Caramagna for helping with the RAP program. He was instrumental in its success. Information will be going out early in September if you're in need of help or if you want to become a volunteer, so be on the lookout. And at this time, I think we're going to recognize our volunteers. Thank you.
Mayor, we still need a roll call.
We'll do a roll call, please.
Council members Balistrary.
Yes.
Dombrowski.
Yes.
Ingwe.
Yes.
Wetchler.
Yes.
Council President Pellegrin.
Yes.
Motion carries. You may now proceed with the presentation.
I just want to make a brief comment. Council President Pellegrin was instrumental in launching this program. It's a program from the heart that only helps people, no other purposes, but helps people live a little easier in our town. And it's an honor to honor those who have helped us achieve this tonight. This time we'd invite Mr. Munson up to assist us in handing out the certificates.
Mr. Munson, I have to...
Yep.
I just want to thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. When we didn't have any volunteers, you and your troop stepped up to help our residents in need. And you really came through with the leaf removal and the snow removal. So we thank you from the bottom of our heart, and we look forward to next year even getting more volunteers. But I needed to really say that to you. I've never met you personally before. I've talked to you on the phone. But really, you stepped up, and Detective Liptak, I know, reached out to you, and it's because of working together as a community that we're able to have a success. So thank you. We're going to ask you to call your troop up.
This is for Andrew Mount. Andrew Mount can make it tonight. This one is for Christopher Joe. Christopher, please come up.
Shake Thank you.
Thank you so much.
This is for Anthony Siracusa. Anthony did the LEAF program and also the snow shoveling program, so he's involved in both. So. This is for Matthew Ruglio. Matthew's involved in the LEAF program. Congratulations. This is for Kyle Bednars. Please come up. Kyle is the LEAF program. This is for Sean Raleigh. He couldn't make it this evening, so. Okay. This is for Tyler Bednars. This is for Christy Bednars. Some of our parents helped us with the.
Thank you so much.
This is for Mike Raleigh. He also helped with the LEAF program. I don't know if his wife wants to come up, Mary.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
And Frank Siracusa, also with the LEAF program.
Thank you so much.
Last but not least, for Mr. William Munson for coordinating all this and being such a great help to the RAP program. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. I'd like to call up Chief Sulik, please, to come up. So I have to tell you about our fire department. We all know how great they are, but I was at a department head meeting when this program first started. And Chief Shadwell, we had no volunteers, and at the time Chief Shadwell said, hey, the fire department can help you with that. And I was just like taken back that they were just wanted to help in any way they can. And then when Chief Sulik became chief, he continued. So we are so proud of our fire department and so thankful because we were really in a bind with this program and we wanted it to be a success. So I really want to thank you from the bottom of our heart, and I hope next year we can help even more residents. So thank you, Chief.
You're welcome.
Lieutenant A.C. Calabrese. Captain Mark Hedinger is in school tonight. Mike Maglicane. Congrats. Battalion Chief Eddie Majerewski. Daniel Howard is in fire school tonight. Ex-Chief Gary Ruglio. Congrats. Ex-Chief William Shadwell could not be here tonight. Dino Valenti, he's not here either. DeAndre Eccles. Congrats. Chief of the Future, Matthew Ruglio. Congrats. George Ganeri, he's in fire school tonight. Chief of Department, Michael J. Sulik Jr.
I'd just like to say I'm so thankful for our fire department for many different reasons, as everybody hears me say week after week, the job that they're doing. But in this particular instance with the RAP program, I actually texted the chief and I said, hey, Chief, any chance you guys can help us out? We really need help on that side of town. And not only did he make it happen, but you could see the support that he got from the team. And I'm so thankful for everything that you guys do. Besides the RAP program, I say it week after week, but in this particular case, you saved a lot of elderly residents from having to get out there and do it themselves again. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Okay, one more. I'd like to ask Chief Beligno to come up, please, and accept this on behalf of Detective Liptak and the entire police department. I have to say something first about this. When we were doing the RAP program, it took weeks and weeks of meetings. The chief was at every meeting, and every time we hit a roadblock, he would figure out a way to go on. This just didn't happen. There were background checks on the volunteers, background checks on the houses the volunteers were going to. It was a long, lengthy process. And every time we hit a roadblock, and he saw my face disappointed, he would be like, don't worry about it. We're going to get through it. We worked with our GIF coordinator.
You know that face, right? Pete's still here?
Pete left. He knows that face. But I really, truly, this took a village for this to happen. And we helped over 100 families with the food and everything this year. And we're going to make it even bigger and better next year. But I had to say all we went through to get to this part. So thank you, and I'm going to let you say a few words.
Thank you. The theme of the night seems to be team, and I want to echo that. There's no egos here. Nobody insults anybody. We all work together. Fire department, police department, EMS, department heads, mayor and council, administration. Everybody works together here, and that's the theme that we want to keep building on in this town, and that's why we're going to move forward and be successful. Thank you, Lorraine. Thank you, Mayor. Congratulations to both of you. Thank you.
Okay. Could we pull up everybody?
No, I'm going to give you yours. And last but not least, we could not do all this without honoring the person who started this program, Council President Lorraine Pellegrin. Can we have all the individuals up for a quick picture?
Council members, come down. Chief Aaron.
Anybody in the council like to say a brief word?
Yes.
Councilwoman Ballesteri.
You first.
I would like to thank all those who participated in the RAP program. This program is very near and dear to my colleague Lorraine. She worked very hard with many to get this program started. In the beginning, as with anything new, there's always pushback and negativity. But when you have a passion, as Lorraine has, it can happen as it has. This program has helped and assisted many residents thus far, and I'm so pleased and proud of how many have joined in to help with snow removal, donations of toys, leaf cleanup, gift cards, and their time for those in need. With all of the help of everyone here, RAP is a success and growing.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilman Ingwe.
I also want to thank Council President Pellegrin. This program was amazing. I didn't know who was participating in it, and seeing the faces and the families who are, I'm not surprised. I have volunteered with many of them over the course of many years, whether it be St. Anne's or in town, and this group does not surprise me. These boys from the middle school, just great kids. So thank you guys all for that. As far as the distribution of gifts, I got to be basically involved in that. And the smiles, the tears that I shared with families as I dispersed some of the gifts through the middle school main office were just amazing. Like, the people were so taken back by what we had given, and it was just something that I can't really explain. But we shared a lot of hugs, and they were very appreciative for this program. So I want to thank Lorraine. I want to thank the chief for helping, with those roadblocks that we were hitting, and really everybody that was involved in it. And keep in mind, next year that we will be doing this again. It will get bigger, it will get better. And if you know anyone who would like to help out with that, please inform any one of us on the council, and we will take it to Lorraine's attention. Okay. Thank you.
Councilman Wetchler.
Fire chief, firemen, everybody that worked out there, all said thank you so much from the bottom of their heart. Because without you, they don't know what they would have done this year. But please, from the bottom of all of our hearts, thank you so much for all your help. Thank you.
Councilman Dombrowski.
Thank you, Mayor. First of all, I'd just like to say to the Boy Scouts again, thank you so much for everything that you do. I know that you do a lot more for the community than what you just did for the RAP program. I just asked Mr. Munson if we're going to be having an Eagle Scout this year, and he said, yes, we have one, and we have another one on the way. Last year, Mr. Munson and his crew brought us, I believe, 4, if I'm not mistaken, maybe more. Oh, sorry, doubled, 8, okay? For 8 Eagle Scouts to come out of Elmo Park at any one time is amazing. To get 8 Eagle Scouts to come out of Elmo Park at all, it's amazing to get that. But, you have a great handle on these young men. And I can't, and you and your staff, I can't thank you enough. As I said earlier about the fire department, can't be more pleased for what they've done. But I would like to also congratulate Councilwoman Pellegrin because, Council President Lorraine Pellegrin, I apologize. When Lorraine was running for council, she, one of her dreams was, I want to start this RAP program. I want to start this RAP program. And I'm not going to lie to you. I just said to myself, there's no way this is going to happen. There's just too many things that can go wrong. There's just too many things that have to go right, to be honest with you. And this amazing woman who's sitting to my left got it done and made it a program that we all could be very, very proud of. But you really did persevere through this whole thing. I'm not going to lie to you, that there was some doubts that I've had going into this, but it was very much a success. And I expect to see it even grow next year. Hopefully next year we'll have more volunteers. I could tell you this, over the last 5 years of being a councilman, I used to get people calling me up during a snowstorm, do you know anybody that can help? And I didn't have an avenue to tell them other than to say, maybe call a landscaper at the time. And now we have a program for those people. And again, congratulations, and lot of hard work went on your part. Thank you.
At this time, if anybody who just received certificates, you are free to go. We have another hour of business, but if you want to stay, by all means do. I just want to give you that option so you don't feel weird getting up. But you know, that's up to you guys. Moving right along with the agenda, just for the public, we'll have the open space public hearing and then the budget adoption, followed by our ordinances and resolutions and so forth. Madam Clerk?
At this time, I'm going to turn the agenda back over to our mayor to discuss the Bergen County Open Space Grant so that we can proceed with its public hearing.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, the Bergen County Open Space Trust Fund allows towns to apply every single year for projects that improve parks and recreational areas. The concept is that towns put in for a project and the county matches $1 to $1. So in other words, if you want to do a $100,000 project, they would give you $50,000 and you pay the other $50,000. If you want to do $200,000, $100,000, and $100,000. A few years ago, the voters in Bergen County increased the open space tax that provided a greater pool of money to both municipalities and the county to upgrade parks and recreational facilities. 2 years ago, we were successful in getting $200,000. Well, we applied 2 years ago and were awarded last year $200,000 from the county for an approximately $400,000 project to rehabilitate the tennis courts at the high school, a joint venture with the school system. Those bids will be open in the coming weeks, and that work will be complete before school starts. We applied last year and were just awarded, I believe, $120,000 from the county for Cherry Hill all-inclusive playground, something that Mr. Jeff Leader has been working very hard to implement up at that park. And I believe we have the second reading of that money tonight. That's a project that will come to fruition very soon. So now we're in the position of having to pick our next application. Councilwoman Ballesteri and myself and the borough administrator, our clerk, our rec director, our representatives from Alimo Engineering sat down, we looked at priorities, and we came up with Rosemont Park, which is in the Rosemont section north of Route 4, as a park that has not really seen any attention and is one of our parks that has pretty outdated playground equipment. Now, going back to what I just said, the fact that there is such a greater pool of money means that the less we apply for, the more money we are basically leaving on the table. The presentation is as follows. We are asking the Bergen County Open Space Fund to give us $250,000 towards a $500,000 project that is a complete renovation of Rosemont Park. You know, we tend to sometimes overlook the outer skirts of our towns. I mean, we're sandwiched by Route 46 and Route 4, but we have to remember that we have thousands and thousands of people that live outside of those borders. This project calls for a complete removal of the outdated playground equipment at Rosemont Park and the installation of a pirate-themed playground with a lighthouse and with a toddler play area. It includes complete new fencing around the entire park. It includes 6 decorative light poles to add to the aesthetics of the park for the residents who walk there and have to view it at night and when the sun goes down. It includes a rehabilitation of the existing basketball court. It also includes a small area for dogs, for a dog run, and includes, and it's a very minimal cost of the project, but includes a bocce court, which is a growing sport and seems to be popular with senior citizens and all ages alike. So that is the proposal. It's a complete renovation of the park. We would not know if we're awarded this until next year. If previous years are any judge, we should receive very close to what we're asking for. And the remaining part of the borough's responsibility, if we're awarded $250,000, would most likely come from the Recreation Trust Fund, which is a fund that replenishes every year based on the surpluses that come into the rec department. So that's the presentation for the public, so the public has a fair idea of what's going on and what's going to be applied for. At this time, we are mandated by law to hold a public hearing on this application, so I would entertain a motion from the council to open it to the public.
So moved.
Councilman Wetchler and Dombrowski. Anyone from the audience who would like to be heard on this specific application, please come up, state your name and address. Seeing none, I'd like to close it to the public. Ingwe? Ballesteri, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Okay,
Uh,
moving on
go
with the
ahead.
resolution for the application. Resolution R-183-19, authorized submission of Bergen County Open Space Grant Application. Whereas the Bergen County Open Space Recreation, Floodplain Protection, Farmland, and Historic Preservation Trust Fund, Bergen County Trust Fund, provides grants to municipal governments and to nonprofit organizations for assistance in the acquisition of lands for open space conservation purposes and/or outdoor recreation facilities. And whereas the Borough of Elmwood Park desires to further the public interest by obtaining a grant of $250,000 from the Bergen County Trust Fund to fund the following project: Rosemont Park improvements. And whereas the Mayor and Borough Council of Elmwood Park have reviewed the County Trust Fund program statement and the Trust Fund Municipal Program Park Improvement Application and Instructions, and desires to make an application for such a matching grant and provide application information and furnish such documents as may be required. And whereas as part of the application process, the Mayor and Borough Council of Elmwood Park held the required public hearing to receive public comments on the proposed park improvements in the application on May 16, 2019. And whereas the County of Bergen shall determine whether the application is complete and in conformance with the scope and intent of the Bergen County Trust Fund. And whereas the applicant is willing to use the County Trust Fund in accordance with such rules, regulations, and applicable statutes, and is willing to enter into an agreement with the County of Bergen for the above-named project and ensure its completion on or about the project contract expiration date. Now therefore be it resolved by the Mayor and Borough Council of Elmwood Park that it is hereby authorized to submit the above completed project application to the county by the deadline of May 20th, 2019, as established by the county, and that in the event of a county trust fund award that may be less than the grant amount requested above, Mayor and Borough Council of Elmwood Park have or will secure the balance of funding necessary to complete the project or modify the project as necessary. And that the Mayor and Borough Council of Elmwood Park are committed to providing a dollar-for-dollar cash match for the project, and that only those park improvements identified and approved in the project application, its trust fund contract, or other documentation will be considered eligible for reimbursement. That Mayor and Borough Council of Elmwood Park agree to comply with all applicable federal, state, and local laws, rules, and regulations in its performance of the project, and that this resolution shall take effect immediately.
May I have a motion on the resolutions?
So moved.
Second.
Wetchler and Ballesteri, is there any discussion on this resolution? Please call the roll.
Council members Ballesteri?
Yes.
Dombrowski?
Yes.
Ingwe?
Yes.
Wetchler?
Yes.
Council President Pellegrin?
Yes.
Motion carries. Okay, for our budget this evening, we have two agenda items. The first is an ordinance being introduced on second reading. Resolution R-184-19, introduced ordinance number 19-08 on second reading, whereas a public notice has been given by the Borough Clerk that an ordinance entitled "An Ordinance to Exceed the Municipal Budget Appropriation Limits and to Establish a Cap Bank," and whereas said ordinance was introduced and passed at a meeting held on Thursday, April 18, 2019, and that further consideration of this ordinance would be taken up at this meeting, and whereas all persons interested in said ordinance were given an opportunity to be heard concerning the same, now therefore be it resolved by the Mayor and Council of the Borough of Elmwood Park that an ordinance entitled "An Ordinance to Exceed the Municipal Budget Appropriation Limits and to Establish a Cap Bank" pass on final reading.
May I have a motion to open it to the public?
So moved.
Second.
Wetchler and Pellegrin, any discussion? I'm sorry, this is for the public. Anyone from the public would like to speak, please come up, give your name and address for the record. Seeing none, I'll close public comments. Is there discussion on the ordinance? Okay, please call the roll.
Council members Ballesteri?
Yes.
Dombrowski?
Yes.
Ingwe?
Yes.
Wetchler?
Yes.
Council President Pellegrin?
Yes.
Motion carries. At this time, may I ask our Borough CFO Roy Rigatano and Borough Auditor Stephen Wilcox to join us on the dais? Okay, the second and last item is our budget adoption. Mayor, we are required by law to uphold the public hearing on adopting our municipal budget. At this time, I recommend that our CFO Roy Rigatano and Borough Auditor Stephen Wilcox give a brief summary.
Press the button, John.
Let me have the budget itself. We did the introduction about 3 weeks ago. I'm proud to say the finances are in very good shape. The taxes this year for the municipal portion actually will be decreased by $3. The surplus has been at record highs and continues. That's through the functioning of the department heads as well as the financial recommendations of the auditor as well as the council itself. The water operating surplus is at historic highs. They continue as we are now going to be looking into new meters in the future and also do some more upgrading of the water system as well. As far as the general capital fund is concerned, we continue to be aggressive on our infrastructure. Those improvements will continue as well. The two major items this year for the public to know, we've had a devastating fire at the Marcal establishment. Fortunately, there is some rebuilding continuing. The tax rate has not been affected in 2019. We also were one of the 19 communities, if you have heard or read, concerning computer hacks. That too was very devastating to the community. That's why we're here in May instead of March or even February with this budget. We had to basically redo all of the financials. But they're done. We're putting money together now through the GIF program to get reimbursed. It is for that reason that the negative $3, as your CFO, I'm all right with, for the simple fact that we are going to be getting reimbursements for both Marcal, as far as the fire is concerned, through FEMA. And I was rest assured that through the GIF program, we will get a substantial amount back for the computer systems as well. That's my proof.
At this time, I would like to open it to the public for the public hearing for the budget. Anyone interested in speaking, please come up, state your name and address for the record.
You'll have to hold down the button until it turns green.
Maggie Jen Domenico, 41 Showbot Lane, Elm Park. Good evening, everybody. Mayor, congratulations on your new assumed role. We're writing to you as well. I guess the question would be to the auditor. I wanted to know what kind of forecast statements you provided to the mayor and council based on the current fund revenues, the appropriation, the fund balance, and the municipal tax rate for the years ending of December 31st, 2019 and December 31st, 2020.
We have not updated projections. We're in process.
So there were no budget forecasts provided to the mayor and council?
No, there wasn't.
So you don't know what impact this current tax rate will have on the next 2 years?
No, we do. Roy and I sat down and we met with the Finance Committee, and like Roy said, we're very comfortable where we are because there's $350,000 in the budget in appropriations that we're going to get reimbursed for that'll go directly back to surplus by the end of this year. So in terms of the surplus position, we know we'll be as good or better at the end of this year than next year. And we, on the spending side, again, you can't, the pension bill went up this year. We were very not lucky. Part of the plan was there was a lot of retirements, large salaries off the books. So the salary line in this year's budget is $222,000 less than in 2018.
Okay, what we've done in the past in 2016 and 17 when we had Lurch, we used to do budget forecasts that would show us, take in account last year and the future 2 years so we could do long range planning, and we would do what impact on the residents like a $0 increase, a $20 and a $40 increase would have in the future. So for example, when we did it in 2017 to come in at a 0 increase, the next year taking surplus and other things into a forecasted outlook would have done a $184 increase.
I prepared it last year. I did a 3-year forecast and presented it to the council that you were a member of. As I said, Roy and I are working on, or in process of updating it for this budget through the next two or 3 years. As Roy mentioned, because of the hack, accumulating a lot of the financial information took a very long time. It was more important to get the budget put together, to get it introduced, so it could be adopted, so that we can then get the budget to the state, get the tax levy certified, and get the tax bills out. So the mayor and council will have that projection. They will just have it a little bit after the adoption of the budget.
Right, not before adopting the budget.
Correct.
Thank you.
Anybody else in the audience? I'd like to close the public portion. Can I get a motion? Dombrowski, Pellegrini, all in favor?
Aye.
Is there any discussion on the second reading of the budget by anyone on the council? Okay, I would just like to, before my capacity as mayor, I was finance chair, and along with Councilwoman Bausieri and Councilwoman Wetchler, we met several times to discuss the budget going back to, a few months ago. I want to first and foremost say that I have complete confidence in our professionals, Mr. Rigatano, who has served as our CFO for, I think, in excess of 20 years, and Mr. Wilcox, whose expertise speaks for itself, and that of his firm. When we give our goals for a budget and they do their financial work and they come up with this kind of product, I have full faith and satisfaction that it is good work and that it does not put us in any peril in any years going forward. So I think that's important to say off of the bat. For the residents, I think it's important to kind of put some of the highlights out of this budget. As we said, for the average home assessed at $330,000 and $115, the tax rate, the taxes will be going down $3, down $3, not zero, actually going down $3 for once. Mr. Wilcox alluded to some of the things that are working in our favor. That salaries are actually down $220,000. And we're in a situation where we have a budget that is flat and even down, and we are still able to support critical things that are making this town better. We're up to 46 police officers, a number we all feel is appropriate to keep our town safe. Within that, a power shift that has been launched by our police chief that is working to more aggressively and more proactively prevent crime and stop quality of life issues. Within this budget, we provide for several school security officers in a partnership with the Board of Education to keep our schools safe. We will soon have up to 2 Special 2 police officers, officers who can carry weapons and who can carry out almost all, if not all, the tasks of police officers in the borough of Elmwood Park, who will be doing quality of life work and will be doing walking patrols on Broadway and soon Market Street. This budget supports an additional employee at the DPW who will take on the line painting of all sorts, whether it's yellow curbs, marking out parking spots on Broadway and other business districts, and taking on our own sign program. Those were 2 elements that we used to farm out for. One year we sent out, we went out and did line painting for $30-something thousand, and we maybe did half the town. We used to outsource our sign creation. We've crunched the numbers and have found that not only will it be more efficient, and we'll be able to do our own signs and paint every line every single year to make our town look crisp, but we will save more money by doing so. Just in our general administration, when we were, faced with changes in our administration, the current administrative and clerk setup compared to this point last year, let's say, we're saving $100,000 based on how we reacted to the situation in front of us with administration turning over. Even small things. I mean, we're in meetings looking to save $12,000, $15,000 for our phone providing. We're looking to get LED lighting in all of our borough buildings. We are proactively looking to save the residents money, because as we do that, as the tens of thousands of dollars add up, it allows these type of flat budgets to exist. I've said this before, taxes in North Jersey have gotten to a very high level, and we need to stop the bleeding, get us stable, and then find ways to be smart and efficient to work backwards. I'm proud of this budget. I think we can hold our heads up high as a governing body and with our professionals and say that this is a good product for the residents of Elmwood Park. If there are no other comments, I'd ask for a roll call on the budget.
May I have a motion?
Oh, a motion on the budget.
Second.
Wetchler and Pellegrin, please call the roll.
Council members Balistrary?
Yes.
Oh, actually, I'm going to proceed with reading the actual resolution. Resolution R-185-19, adoption of the 2019 municipal budget. Be it resolved that the mayor and council of the Borough of Elmwood Park in the County of Bergen, State of New Jersey, hereby adopt the 2019 municipal budget set forth herein and shall constitute an appropriation for the purposes stated of the sums therein set forth as appropriations and authorization in the amount of $27,873,799.13 for municipal purposes. We had a first by Wetchler, second by Pellegrin. Council members Balistrary,
Yes.
Dombrowski,
Yes.
Ingui,
Yes.
Wetchler,
Yes.
Council President Pellegrin.
Yes.
Motion carries. At this time, I'd like to thank our Borough Auditor and CFO for joining us this evening.
Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, Mayor, we'll continue on with ordinances, beginning with those that we will introduce on first reading, starting with ordinance R-187-19, introduced ordinance number 19-11. Be it resolved that an ordinance entitled Bonds Ordinance to authorize the acquisition of a new aerial tower fire truck and a new mini pumper fire engine, including original apparatus and equipment in, by, and for the Borough of Elmwood Park in the County of Bergen, New Jersey, to appropriate the sum of $1,740,000 to pay the cost thereof, to make a down payment to authorize the issuance of bonds to finance such appropriation, and to provide for the issuance of bond anticipation notes in anticipation of the issuance of such bonds, be passed and adopted on first reading, and be it resolved that a final hearing on said ordinance will be heard in the municipal building on Thursday, June 20th, 2019, at 8 p.m. or as soon thereafter, as same can be heard, at which time any persons interested in said ordinance can be heard. Be it resolved that the acting borough clerk be and she is hereby authorized to advertise in a legal newspaper a notice of introduction and final hearing as required by law.
May I have a motion to introduce the ordinance?
So moved. Second.
Dombrowski and Ingui, is there any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Council members Balistrary?
Yes.
Dombrowski?
Yes.
Ingui?
Yes.
Wetchler?
Yes.
Council President Pellegrin?
Yes.
Motion carries. Moving on to resolution R-188-19, introduced ordinance number 19-12 on first reading. Be it resolved that an ordinance entitled, an ordinance of the Borough of Elmwood Park, County of Bergen, State of New Jersey, amending and supplementing the code of the borough at Chapter 4 entitled Licensing and Businesses Regulations, so as to amend Section 4.6 entitled Hawkers, Peddlers, and Solicitors to include roadway charitable solicitation, be passed and adopted on first reading, and be it resolved that a final hearing on said ordinance will be heard in the municipal building on Thursday, June 20th, 2019, at 8 p.m. or as soon thereafter as same can be heard, at which time any persons interested in said ordinance can be heard. Be it resolved that the acting borough clerk be and she is hereby authorized to advertise in a legal newspaper a notice of introduction and final hearing as required by law.
May I have a motion to introduce the ordinance?
So moved. Second.
Wetchler, Pellegrin, is there any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Council members Balistrary?
Yes.
Dombrowski?
Yes.
Ingui?
Yes.
Wetchler?
Yes.
Council President Pellegrin?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Aaron, 18619.
Yes. No, I have it right here, sorry. Okay, I apologize. I skipped over Resolution R-186-19, introduced ordinance number 19-10 on first reading. Be it resolved that an ordinance entitled, "An Ordinance of the Borough of Elmwood Park, County of Bergen, State of New Jersey, amending and supplementing the Code of the Borough, more specifically, Chapter 7, entitled Traffic, Section 7-23, Term Prohibitions," be passed and adopted on first reading. And be it resolved that a final hearing on said ordinance will be heard in the municipal building on Thursday, June 20th, 2019 at 8 p.m. or as soon thereafter as same can be heard, at which time any persons interested in said ordinance can be heard. Be it resolved that the acting borough clerk be and she is hereby authorized to advertise in a legal newspaper a notice of introduction and final hearing as required by law.
May I have a motion to introduce the ordinance?
So moved. Second.
Wetchler and Dombrowski. Any discussion?
Yes, Mayor. This particular ordinance will prevent, now that we have the new Mola Boulevard and Market Street, this will prevent many residents from making a left-hand turn out of the bank going towards the south of the boulevard and many other streets, but it prevents people from making right-hand turns and left-hand turns depending on what side of the street you're on. And I must say that it will absolutely, because now that we have 3 lanes in the new traffic pattern, this is a must. So I'm very happy that we're taking a proactive move on this. I thank our traffic department, our traffic officers for bringing this to us. This is very much needed in this town. There's been a lot of close calls, even without the 3 lanes.
Thank you, Councilman. Please call the roll.
Councilmembers Balistrary?
Yes.
Dombrowski?
Yes.
Ingui?
Yes.
Wetchler?
Yes.
Council President Pellegrin?
Yes.
Motion carries. Moving on to ordinances being introduced on second reading. Resolution R-189-19. Introduced ordinance number 19-09 on second reading, whereas a public notice has been given by the Borough Clerk that an ordinance entitled Capital Ordinance of the Borough of Elmwood Park in the County of Bergen, New Jersey, authorizing the installation of ADA accessible playground equipment at Cherry Hill Park in, by, and for the borough, appropriating therefore the sum of $308,350 and providing that such sum so appropriated shall be raised from a county grant and from the Borough Recreation Trust Fund. And whereas said ordinance was introduced and passed in a meeting held on Thursday, April 18, 2019, and that further consideration of this ordinance would be taken up at this meeting, and whereas all persons interested in said ordinance were given an opportunity to be heard concerning the same. Now therefore be it resolved by the Mayor and Council of the Borough of Elmwood Park that an ordinance entitled Capital Ordinance of the Borough of Elmwood Park in the County of Bergen, New Jersey, authorizing the installation of ADA accessible playground equipment at Cherry Hill Park in, by, and for the borough, appropriating therefore the sum of $308,350 and providing that such sum so appropriated shall be raised from a county grant and from the Borough Recreation Trust Fund, pass on final reading.
May I have a motion to open to the public on this second reading?
Second.
Ingui, Wetchler. Anyone from the public like to speak on this ordinance? Seeing none, I'll close the public portion. Can I have a motion on that?
So moved.
Second.
Dombrowski, Pellegrin, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
May I have a motion to adopt the ordinance?
So moved.
Second.
Dombrowski, Pellegrin, any discussion?
Yes, Mayor.
Please.
I am so pleased that we are actually looking into and doing this for our community and taking care of all children and young adults by providing an ADA handicap accessible playground. I'd also like to thank Jeff Leader from the Let It Be Little Foundation for being so helpful in helping us not only attain the grants, but also give us his guidance as what would be best and needed for children who are either in wheelchairs and so on and so forth. But to see smiles on children who may be sitting in a wheelchair because they actually get to go on a swing is going to be the joy that this community could be very proud of. You know, right now, up until this point, I believe the closest one was in Van Saun Park. So for us to have this, I'm very, very pleased. And again, I'm very thankful that we moved this forward.
Thank you, Councilman. Call the roll, please.
Councilmembers Balistrary?
Yes.
Dombrowski?
Yes.
Ingui?
Yes.
Wetchler?
Yes.
Council President Pellegrin?
Yes.
Motion carries. Mayor, continuing on to the consent agenda, we have R-190-19, establish 2019 temporary capital budget. R-191-19, approval of payroll. R-192-19, approval of bills list. R-193-19, authorizing the emergency purchase of a new 210 HP flight sewage pump. R-194-19, authorized vacation buybacks. R-195-19, redeem third-party tax lien. R-196-19, resolution increasing hours, building department, Nicholas Fedorsen. R-197-19, resolution authorizing the sale of certain tax lien certificates. R-198-19, authorized release of engineering escrow to Paul Ortiz, 135 Hamilton Avenue. R-199-19, authorized release of road opening performance bond. Lujobomir Martinovsky, 6 Bretter Court. R-200-19, approved handicap parking space, Phillip Avenue. R-201-19, authorized payment, LaGuardia and Associates Entertainment, LLC. R-202-19, resolution approving Elmwood Park Fire Department stipend program, first quarter compensation. R-203-19, resolution authorizing additional funds for the water CPK-4 four-stage pump due to the January 30th, 2019 Marcal fire. R-204-19, appointment of Special Officer Class 2 Police Department, Caesar Rahman. R-205-19, appointment of Special Police Officer Class 2 Police Department, Luigi Di Carano. R-206-19, appoint temporary sound recording operator municipal court. And R-207-19, approving consent agenda.
May I have a motion on the consent agenda?
So moved.
Ingwe Wechsler. Is there any discussion on the consent agenda? Please call the roll.
Council members Balistrary,
Yes, but I abstain on R-204-19 and R-205-19 because I have a family member that works for the police department.
Dombrowski,
Yes.
Ingwe,
Yes, but I abstain on R-191-19, R-204-19, and R-205-19.
Wechsler,
I abstain on R-191-19. My husband works for the rec department, but yes to the rest.
and Council President Pellegrin.
Yes.
Motion carries. Quickly for departmental reports on the agenda, we have the Library Board minutes from March 18th, 2019.
May I have a motion to accept and file those minutes?
So moved.
Second.
Wechsler, Pellegrin, all in favor?
Aye.
All approve?
Last on my agenda, we have the following applications. February 8th, 2019, bingo, St. Anne's Roman Catholic Church. May 10th, 2019, bingo, Our Lady of Mount Virgin Roman Catholic Church. July 13th, 2019, we have 3 draw raffles for Elmwood Park Defender Company number 2, September 13th, 2019, 50/50 raffle, Elmwood Park Patterson Elks Lodge number 60, and October 18th, 2019, bingo, Our Lady of Mount Virgin Roman Catholic Church.
May I have a motion to approve these applications?
So moved.
Second.
Dombrowski, Ingwe, all in favor?
Aye.
Mayor, this concludes my portion of the meeting.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. I'd like to start off with council reports with Councilwoman Ingwe, if she is ready.
Sure. This is working. All right. Well, first I want to congratulate Council President Pellegrin. Is it working? Is it on? Okay. She is a woman that has given years and years of service to this community, always there to help in any way that she can. Her positive attitude, her outfits, and her hair are always on point. That's your little shout out for you, Lorraine. Lorraine is a team player. I'm proud to be part of that team, and I want to congratulate you on becoming the council president. My ambulance report. The ambulance is hosting their first meet and greet this Saturday, May 18th, from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. They will be having, let's see, sorry, I have this thing here. Hot dogs, hamburgers, and beverages. They will also be taking blood pressure screenings. They have a bouncy house and outdoor games. They will be doing some demonstrations and hoping to recruit some volunteers. I want to also thank Scott Cars and the DPW for cleaning and maintaining the underpasses throughout the town For us walkers, you have no idea how much I appreciate this. I brought this up several times over the course of many years, and finally someone did something about it. Not only for us, but for our four-legged friends. This is very much appreciated. And with that, progress.
Councilman Dombrowski?
Thank you, Council President. First of all, let me congratulate you, Lorraine, on being appointed as our council president. As you can tell, the job of council president should be taken very seriously. You never know when you're going to be called into need, but basically you are the right hand of the mayor and of this council, and I know that you will do a phenomenal job moving it forward. My fire report. We're 136 days into the new year, and our fire department has been called out to service 296 times. Last year we were just a little over 500, and I'm telling you, we're going to just blow that number away if it continues in this aspect. The month of April, we had 44 calls for the fire department to go out into service. Just this past week, Elmo Park Fire Department was called to assist Saddlebrook Fire Department on 4 separate structural fires, 4. And in April, we assisted Garfield Fire Department with a high-pressure gas main leak near one of their schools. Again, today we had a situation around 2:30. We had a 30-something-year-old man call with his cell phone and say he was trapped under a shed. So, okay, I go to the location. I expect to find like one of these metal sheds or one of these, plastic sheds that fall in on top of the gentleman. No, this was like a house, and this man was stuck under this shed. And the fire department and our Elmo Park Police Department, the 3 officers that got there on the scene first, somehow were able to lift this probably 300-pound roof off of this man so he could breathe. Fire department got there. They were able to extract this gentleman. He did go to the hospital. I do understand that he's got no major serious injuries, but it could have been worse. God forbid this man didn't have a cell phone. We might have found him next year. But seriously, great job by our fire department and our police department on a quick and active removal of this gentleman. Tonight, we also approved on our first reading to replace our ladder truck and add a mini pumper for a total of $1.7 million. The ladder truck is overextended its lifetime. We must replace it. We are replacing it with a state-of-the-art, smaller version of the apparatus that we currently have, which will allow it to get around our streets and maneuver much easier, but still have the same reach and same capabilities of our current truck. So I'm very pleased to see that happen. And basically, if there's any residents out there that need that have any questions, our fire official Steve Kuchik is always available, and he could be reached at 201-796-1457 at extension 221. Progress, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilwoman Wetchler.
Yes, good evening, thank you. Lorraine, congratulations. Danny, congratulations. I can't wait to work with all of these again. Our homeowners meeting is Wednesday, May 22nd at 7 o'clock. It's at the Rec Department on Moeller Boulevard. Steve, I'm going to kill your name, Kuchek, the fire inspector, will be there that Wednesday night to speak to our residents, give a program, and if anybody has any questions, he's welcome to hear anything and help anybody. Bus run to the Sands is on Friday, May 31st. It leaves the Rec Department at 10 o'clock. It's $30. You can call Linda Calabini, or you can come see us on Wednesday at the homeowners meeting, May 22nd. The library meeting is this Monday coming, May 20th. It's in the all-purpose room downstairs. That's 7 o'clock. They discuss about the library getting open, what the work they have been doing, and they're moving the library to the hut on the boulevard. Please come out. Any concerns or any questions, they're there to answer everything. Thank you. Progress.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilwoman Balistrieri.
Okay, on recreation, Community Day is June 1st from 11 to 3. Summer camp registration is still open. Our new adult basketball league is running well. Crew soccer is having a very successful season. The quotes for the dog park are in, and we should be moving forward with the work very soon. Our next recreation board meeting will be on Monday, May 20th at 7:30 in the recreation building. Our DPW, all the underpasses have been cleaned in the month of April and will continue on a monthly basis. Spring sports are in full spring, and the fields are being maintained on a daily basis for the games. There is a complex breakdown of our master sewer station, which takes in the sewage from the municipality and is sent to the Passaic Valley Sewage. Scott Cars, our superintendent of public works, is working closely with our engineer to work on solutions to avoid a breakdown of such in the future. Yard waste pickup continues according to the recycling schedule. Our next stigma-free meeting will be on Tuesday, May 21st at 6 p.m. in the all-purpose room. Please join us. We would love to have more people getting involved with stigma-free. It's been going well and a great success. This past Saturday, Councilwoman Pellegrin and I held our second meeting for Council Corner. Councilwoman Wexler joined us. We responded to several comments and questions that were brought to us in the previous meeting. We will be meeting again in September. Once a date is set, we will share it with our community. Mayor, progress.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Council President Pellegrin.
Good evening, everyone. My Board of Health update. They had their meeting on Monday. The rabies clinic was held last night. 17 dogs and 1 cat were vaccinated. The next rabies clinic is November 13th from 5 to 7 p.m., Firehouse number 4, Mulla Boulevard. Also at the meeting, they discussed having someone from Bergen County Animal Shelter come to Elmwood Park to discuss the TNR program, which stands for Trap, Neuter, and Return for our feral cat population. Also, they will address all wild animal situations, what to do if you encounter a fox, coyote, raccoon, etc. Time and date to be determined. Their next meeting is Monday, June 10th at 7 p.m. My police update. LEAD. The LEAD program, which stands for Law Enforcement Against Drugs. We currently have 4 officers trained to teach in each of our elementary schools, including St. Leo's. The department just added 3 more officers to teach our youth about the dangers of drugs. This is a very important proactive program to educate our youth and keep them safe. Officers Ingui, Tinio, and Castellanos are joining the teaching team. Yesterday, on May 15th, Elmwood Park had their kickoff campaign for Street Smart. Street Smart New Jersey aims to reduce the number of pedestrian vehicle crashes in New Jersey by combining public education and law enforcement efforts. Our police department applied for a grant for this program and received $15,000. Some life-saving tips are: don't text and drive, slow down, cross at crosswalks, don't cross in between parked vehicles, don't be texting while crossing a street. These are, of course, common sense approaches for safety. However, many people do not follow these simple rules to keep themselves and others safe. This program, through education and enforcement, will remind drivers and pedestrians to do the right thing. This program will help save lives. Our local PBA 185 will be having a beefsteak dinner on Saturday, May 18th at 7 p.m. at the American Legion. Tickets are $60 per person. To purchase tickets, please call Detective Randy Garillo at 201-796-1457, extension 119. Also, it has been an extremely busy first quarter for our police department. We are up 2,000 calls from this time last year. I wanted to congratulate our 2 Special 2 officers. I wish you much success here in Elmwood Park and always stay safe. My Chamber of Commerce update. They will be having a meeting on May 29th at 6 p.m. right here in the council chambers. Special guest speaker is Donna Spotto, Deputy Director of the Bergen County Division of Economic Development. Discussion to include benefits available to our businesses, a tour of the division's website, and there will be a question and answer session. They encourage all current and future members to attend this very informative meeting. Our chamber currently has over 80 members. Come be a part of this very special evening. Refreshments will be served. To those of you here tonight, I left brochures out on the front there if you want to take one on the way out. And we encourage, you don't just have to be a business owner. Our residents are welcome to come and learn what's going on with our chamber. So thank you and progress.
Thank you, Council President. I've said plenty tonight. So at this time, I will open the meeting to public comments on any subject. Anyone wishing to speak, please state your name and address for the record. We have a 10-minute limit that we hopefully don't have to use. Motion, please.
So moved.
Dombrowski.
Second.
Pellegrin, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone willing to speak, please come to the microphone. State your name and address for the record.
Mayor, Council President,
You just need to make sure the green light is on the microphone in front.
Mr. Mayor, Council President, council members, I have lived in this town my entire life. My parents bought their house in 1941.
I'm sorry, I need your name and address. Your name and address?
I'm sorry. Marion Speed, 67 Ackerman Avenue.
Can you spell that for the record?
First name, last name.
Both, please.
Marian.
Okay,
Speid.
thank you.
As I said, I've lived in this town my entire life. I have never been so embarrassed as I have in the last few weeks. I've had people calling me from out of state because of the news. Now, it's bad enough that our federal leaders are involved in an investigation about election malfeasance. But to have it come in our own town is an outrage. I believe that all of you either knew or suspected of this malfeasance because of comments that were made shortly after the election and continuing thereafter, and you did nothing. The citizens of this town elected all of you to a position of trust, which I believe you breached. Your credibility and integrity as a governing body and individually, I believe, has been irreparably damaged. I hope you will address this seriously. Thank you.
Ms. Speed, what specific accusations are you making? Because I was not entirely clear. I just want, for the record, the specific accusations that you're making.
That there was tampering with ballots. The night of the election, up at the Democratic Club, or the Accounting Club, whatever they call it, someone made a comment to me, "Oh, don't worry, Frank will count the mail-in ballots." And I thought, okay, that's an innuendo. I'm not going to do anything about it. I don't have any authority to do anything about it. But since then, there have been additional comments, and they have proven to be true, based on the actions of our county prosecutor, who I know, and I know he doesn't bring things frivolously. So,
And just going off that point that the prosecutor is someone you know and doesn't do things frivolously, the Bergen County Prosecutor is the premier investigatory agency in the county and perhaps the state. I think you and I can both agree that they were thorough and extensive in what they looked into, and they came to some sort of conclusion. If you feel that they didn't come to the proper conclusion, your avenue, respectfully, is the prosecutor. If you feel that you have additional information or evidence, real stuff that could support their efforts.
No,
Okay.
I don't, Mayor. I keep hearing things around town. People make comments. And you know the old adage, where there's smoke, there's fire. And it's just very upsetting that this happened in this town. This town always had a really good reputation. And, you know, now, and the subsequent things that have happened on the other side, too. I mean, it's very upsetting. And I think that this council needs to take some kind of action. I'm not sure what. I don't have the answers. But I just want you to know that it's an upsetting thing for a lot of the people that live in this town.
Ms. Spees, I think we've taken every action possible by law. We follow the law to the T, that we put a new mayor in to take over. I think this council has been very proactive in this situation. I really don't understand exactly everything that you're talking about. Listen, I get it. It's a small town. People are going to talk. The problem is it's like that game of telephone. You get one person that says one thing at one end, and by the time it gets to the other end, that whole story becomes something totally different. The situation is that there are accusations. Nothing has been confirmed at this point. What you read in the paper, a good portion of it was not exactly accurate. Okay, there is a court date set for May 22nd. What happens after that, we don't know. It's out of our hands. And as the mayor has mentioned, I think that they did a thorough investigation, and I'm sure whatever the
I have no doubt that investigation is thorough.
And I'm saying to you that that on May 22nd, then there may be other things we need to do, but at this point, I think we've done everything by the law. We follow it as a council, as a governing body. As I said to you, as I said to our mayor when he was just appointed, I've now served under 5 different mayors in 2.5 years, and we've not skipped a beat, and we will not skip a beat. I promise you that. Thank you.
Anyone else from the public? Mr. Arabia.
Kenneth Arabia, 34 Locust Street, Elm Park. Mayor and councilmen, we have problems again, bigger problems than you think.
What's going on, Mr. Arabia?
Why do you have to put employee sign on the parking lot in the back?
I'm sorry, say that again?
And employee parking lot only?
Why do we have a sign in the back for employee parking?
Mr. Administrator, could you answer this, please?
The employee-only parking is going to be implemented in the near future. We're trying to free up spaces for the borough residents to come to Borough Hall so they have ample parking for when they have come here to do business. Right now, it seems to be a problem, and it's difficult to find a space. We're trying to move all employees to the back lot so the middle spaces in here in the back can be opened up for borough residents to come and visit the municipal building.
One thing you should do is put lines in the parking lot. And
Mr. Arabia, the lot is going to be paved and there's going to be parking stalls. Be patient.
Reconfiguration as well, correct?
And maintenance and everything, right now, Tuesdays is miracle.
Tuesdays are quit day.
It's horrible.
It's horrible.
Yeah.
It's been that way for a long time.
Right, but now you put employee in the parking lot, you took the parking spot, so for people to park, for the pay the tickets.
We do the best we can, Mr. Arabia. We have to have court.
I know, but I'm just saying to you, it's like murder in our area.
Point taken.
Our side, you know what I mean, because we're very close to the city hall.
Right.
Understood.
And another thing, please, those signs you got for crossing signs, for crossing street, for crossing the crossing line, you know what I mean? And those signs say, "Well, stop." People don't stop at those signs. They keep going. They don't stop. So, I mean, there's something those signs that don't do nothing. We need something better than those signs. Because I try to cross the street all the time, right in front of your city hall, to go across the bank. And it's so hard to cross over the bank from that side.
We just received a $15,000 grant from the state. We're doing an education and enforcement campaign for pedestrian safety. It takes time to educate the public, and then we will do an enforcement campaign. So again, be patient. We're working on it.
But I mean, I'm telling you, I asked cops to say, look, the girl will make through, and I'm trying to wait here for the girl across the street. And they said, well, we can't do nothing.
Who said that? A police officer said that to you? Okay, I'll talk to him.
Because he said they're too busy doing everything, they don't have time to do what's that.
Yeah, but
I want to be safe. I don't want to go out in the street and go in cars going crossing the road and I can't get across.
Right.
Not right.
Mr. Arabia, this $15,000 grant will actually allow us to have police officers act as decoys at some of these pedestrian locations, and we will stop the residents that are not following the law. This $15,000 grant allows us to take a police officer and do that specifically, and we could pay that police officer to do that. So we are being proactive. We understand exactly what you're saying. We know what you're saying. The state has already came in and gave us the statistics of how many people are killed, in not just in New Jersey, but nationally because of. So we understand it. We're working on it. As our business administrator said, please be a little bit patient. That's all. Okay?
But I'm just saying, a lot of people
We hear you.
go to the bank and
We understand.
they go across the street.
We understand. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. I'm Barbara Vondenhagen. Barbara spelled the usual way, Vondenhagen. V is in Victor, O, N is in Nancy, space, D is in David, E, M is in Mary, space, H is in Harry, A, G is in George, E, N is in Nancy.
And your address?
227 Orchard Street.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm coming up first because I wanted to invite everybody. I'm part of EPIC, the Elmwood Park Involved Citizens. On Tuesday, May 21st at 7 p.m. at the Rec Center, the Senior Center, we are having a speaker in honor of Memorial Day. The man who is speaking or presenting, his brother was killed during the Vietnam conflict, and he brought his brother's remains home, and he's going to be discussing that journey. So I invite all of you to come to that. While we're talking about street signs, you have someone, I don't know if this is Elmwood Park. I used to be a teacher, and this street down here, the sign says Locust Street. Can you please have it changed so it says Locust Street on River Road? You know, I think people who live on the street should go.
Is the T, has it worn off, or is it just not there?
I don't think it was ever there.
I think it's misspelled. It's been that for years.
I think we deserve the street. You know, you pay for the signs, it should be correct.
True.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for the invite as well.
James Speed, 67 African Avenue. Mr. Mayor, Council President, I'd like to bring up two subjects. One is, why does this town need a mini pump? It's got 3 engine companies, and the new truck will also have pumps to carry through it. There's no reason for a mini pump. Where are they going to put it?
I can answer that, Mayor.
Councilman, Fire
Okay.
Commissioner.
Mr. Spees, a lot of discussion has been brought about this particular mini pumper. First of all, this mini pumper can go underneath all of these underground parking garages where the engines and the trucks cannot. This mini pumper can go underneath and fight the fire. In Altair, you have residents that are living there during the middle of the night. It's necessary. This mini pumper can easily get into the woods and fight any kind of brush fire. This town, now that we also have more apartments coming down to River Road, is also going to have much more underground parking. We're being proactive and being able to get it now under the same bond as our truck and at this year's rates versus 2 years from now, we're getting it now. So trust me, a lot of discussion has gone in between the fire chiefs, the former chiefs, and this mini pumper in my view and in the chief's view is something that this town is definitely going to need, especially with all the underground parking that's coming into this town. We already have quite a few buildings that have underground parking, not only here on Market Street, over by the open MRI across from the Boulevard Bar. I mean, and the fact is that it'll be a fast response truck, and believe me, it'll get its use. And now that, as I said, we're putting in over 400 new apartments down on River Road eventually, as they've gotten the approval through the planning board, and they start building that. All of that's going to be underground parking, and those people are living above there. Would you want to have to put the engine on the street and then run the hose all the way through? This will allow us to get to if there's an active fire close to the scene.
Mr. Dombrowski, I've been in the fire service 42 years.
And I thank you for that.
All right? Don't tell me that an injured man can't take a hose on underground apartments and put out a fire. But you got to go out and spend God knows how much for this mini pumper.
It's about 300,000.
How much?
About 300.
Waste of money. Right?
But if I could just add, I mean, this is a request from the fire company, from the chiefs. I mean, these are 5 or 6 or however many of the top-ranking fire department officials who came to the mayor and council with this request. This isn't us saying, hey, we want to spend $300,000.
We didn't just pick it out of the sky.
Yeah, I mean, if you have this issue with us, I think it starts with them too. If you're, part of the department for so long, maybe that's where your first problem is.
With their thinking. You people just approved a new engine for engine 3.
Mm-hmm.
Am I correct?
That's correct. We replaced it last year.
Last year.
Yes.
So you're going for a new truck aerial ladder
Correct.
A lot of money being wasted.
Well, I wouldn't call it wasted. As you being in the fire business for over 40 years, as you mentioned, you know these vehicles have a life expectancy, and every one that we have replaced to this date has met and exceeded the life expectancy. That's why we need to replace it. And if you notice, we're replacing one every other year or every year, so that we're not replacing all four or multiples in the same year. And that's why it's always staggered. The situation with the truck 4, I can honestly tell you that we as a borough, or not say we as a borough, but the fire department has really been putting a lot of extra money into repairs for the little minor things that have been going wrong with it. I know now there's one of the extension hoses, there's something wrong with it. My whole point is that we've been putting, as I say, we've been putting money against the old truck and just basically putting a Band-Aid on a very bad situation, and it's not stopping the bleeding. So not only is the truck beyond its years, but it was necessary. That's why you see it. And just before we did 3, we did 2's rescue. So like I said, we're doing one every couple of years. The infrastructure of this town has to be kept up and maintained, and that's why we do it that way.
Number 2, I would personally like to thank Chief Foligno for pushing to get that fence up on Route 4.
I agree.
It has made a big difference so far. We have ignorant people out here that they now cross to that fence, walk down, turn around, and go back to where they want to go. Can't stop that.
Right. Let it be known that to this council that Mr. Spies is the crossing guard over on Route 4, over by the gas station and where Kmart was. And I can honestly tell you that he has mentioned a number of times some of the people trying to basically take their lives in their hands. You're 100% right. Yeah. And you're right.
And
Chief
thank you for
Foligno,
working that corner, because I don't think we could get anybody else.
Chief
to do it,
Foligno
so
does
thank
deserve
you.
that credit, because he was on top of the state after that second pedestrian. He was on top of him.
As a matter of fact, I approached the chief months ago.
Mm-hmm.
I said to him, Chief, if I go out and buy my own stop sign.
Okay.
Flash.
Uh-huh.
I says, I'd be allowed to use it. He said, oh, definitely. You're not paying for it. We are.
And he got you to sign, right?
Got 2 of them, both sides.
Yeah. Well, you were also, just to give Mr. Spies the credit, he was the one who requested the second person on the other side because it was very difficult. So again, thank you for your service.
And also, the Street Start campaign is also going to help save a lot of lives through education and the enforcement of our officers.
Flyers for us, if we can do, Jim? Would you hand out some flyers for us up there?
Why not?
Thank you.
Mr. Spies, may I have the correct spelling of your last name, please?
Same as Marion. Same as Marion.
Oh, okay.
They're a couple.
No, that's okay.
Anyone else from the public? Oh, Mr. Conboy.
Really?
Come on. I must be coming here to smell flowers.
They're fake.
That's so. Even better. Tom Conboy, 135 Tooele Avenue. Oh, Joe, you threw me off my feet. I can't believe that.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, Tom.
First, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to congratulate you. Thank you. I remember when you and pal Victor used to come to all the meetings. And, I said at that time to my fellow club members, this would be a great time to start the Young Republicans Club, and this would be a great young man to get. Well, that never panned out, so now look today. You're sitting in the center spot. But they don't want me anymore either, so that's okay. I got a new team. But anyway.
Do you?
I do.
Tell us more.
I didn't even see that. I didn't even say who I am, because I didn't think we were going to be that anymore. What I would like to say, though, is one thing that we all know, whether we served on the Board of Ed or other boards here in town, here on council, which most of our families all think we're crazy when we run for these kind of offices. Right? Let's see, we're all in agreement. Look at this, we're a happy family. But we're also part of a special club. Not just the ones that are here today, but the ones that came before us and those who will come after us. And so I wanted to come up and give a lot of credit to somebody who fought really hard for something. And even though some of the officials at that time, and I wasn't serving on the council at that time, even though some of our professionals at that time might have said, no, it's not really, we really shouldn't have to do that because it's really not problematic. It's not really a problem in the area, in town. But this individual thought it was a really positive thing to do for the future, the safety. And his philosophy was, even if we save one life, it was well worth doing. So I want to, one thing that happens if you lose, as I heard earlier, as we all know, sometimes it takes a lot of time to get a project done. And it might happen when either you decide not to return to council, or if for some reason you find yourself out of council. But I want to really congratulate someone who was at that time, I was older than Danny, but I used to sit here and go to meetings myself before I got involved in any club affiliation or anything, was former Councilman Frank Fasolo. Frank Fasolo fought, now you're all saying, whoa, he's talking something positive, I'm a Democrat. But Frank fought, I remember Frank fighting for changing the intersection down by the Taco Bell, by Midland, and right here at the corner. I see it's almost finished. You guys know where I live, so I'm seeing all the tarring and everything going. And Frank kept it up. Frank said, no, we got to do this, even if we save, granted, there's no accidents, there's very few accidents ever here at this intersection, but he believed that even if we do it, and we save that one time, we saved somebody, it was well worth it. So he worked, we got the county grants and all that. And over the years, all the other governing bodies after had to vote on various things. And I remember sitting here, or in there, how passionate he was. So I was made sure that I voted when we had to spend more money on fighting with our attorneys for easements and who owned this property and all that kind of stuff. And even though some of the people on that side of the party or this side of the party would vote no for it, I was always glad that we kept it going, and I'm glad to see it finished, almost finished. So he's not here, and so I just wanted to thank Councilman at that time, Councilman Fasolo, for his efforts to see this project finished. I hope I believe he still lives in town, so I hope when he drives through it, he feels proud that he helped hopefully save a life and that project is finishing. I do just want to say one thing, and I'm not trying to be political here. If you feel that's the way it is, I understand. I've been a part of 4 elections. I have won and I have lost. Okay? My last election, I lost to Joe, and my running mate and his running mate didn't come on till late onto the ticket into August, which kind of even made it a little more painful. But Joe and I shook hands when it was over. And even my first time I lost, I never walked away with any doubt. I always believed that the election ran the way it was supposed to run. I know I didn't ever even think of doing something irregular. And I'm not saying anyone here did anything either. Everybody has their day in court. Everybody will be judged and so forth. I just hope that, again, I just want to emphasize, we all go through this, right? We win, we lose, and I think we all, still say hello to each other. We still, I just hope that.
Tom, we hugged earlier.
Yeah, we
did. You and I hugged earlier, right? So.
Absolutely. And if I win in June, we'll be facing off again. So I know you're going to catch me this time. But what I'm saying is, I just hope I never had any doubt, and I hope that doubt is still pure. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not, and I don't always agree with the individual involved. So I could come here and pile on, I guess, but I'm not looking to do that because I believe in our process here in this community. Whether we won or lost, I just hope it stays that way. Thank you for listening.
Tom, can I say something? I just want to tell you, I appreciate you actually saying that. I've been on the losing side too, and then on the winning side. And when I lost, I believe 2 days later was the public session. And it was hard to come sit back in the chair as a loser, but I did it because my best interest has always been the town. And that's, I think, I think I see a lot of similarity here in the fact that when you want something, you kind of just don't give up on the people, even when sometimes it's like, why are you doing this, And I just appreciate you saying that, because not too many people get up and say, I've been on both ends of it, and being we both have, I know how that feels, and I've always seen your interest in moving the town forward, and that's
Well,
appreciated.
one thing that all keeps us together, even having the chief that we have. I don't know our chief's status, but I'm sure he could probably say to himself, I don't need to keep doing this. He could probably, you don't have to answer. That's an HR question. But now you're also the PA, so I'm sure you know those. But I'm sure you could go, right? I always, we're always lucky that people say that. Huh?
5 years ago.
See? 5 years ago. So, but the one thing, and I don't know if I'm close to my 10 minutes, Mr. Mayor, so, but one thing that does bind us all together on any given day, and whether we oppose each other in an election or something else, if you need something, just call. I know I can call anyone here, anyone over there, that someone would come and help. But we also all do care very deeply about this community.
Agreed.
Otherwise, we wouldn't do what we do, because otherwise we're crazy.
Agreed.
So, okay.
Thank you.
You all very much.
Thank you, Tom.
All of you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Good luck, Tom.
Anyone else?
Anyone else in the public would like to speak? At this time, I'd like to close the public portion. Can I get a motion on that?
Second.
Wetchler, Ballesteri, all in favor?
Aye.
I'd like to call for a motion to close this public meeting.
Actually, Mayor, if I may I have a motion to return to the consent agenda for, with your appointment to mayor, we have a vacancy in the planning board as council
Yes.
representative?
Correct. Before I get into that, so with my becoming mayor, I am a member of the planning board now, and there is a vacancy for the council representative to the planning board. So first, let's take a motion to return to the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Dombrowski, Pellegrin, all in favor?
Aye.
And at this time, I'd like to take nominations for representative to the planning board from the council.
I'd like to nominate Councilwoman Denise Ingwe.
I second that.
Pellegrin, Wetchler, nomination of Councilwoman Ingley. Are there any other nominations? Please call the roll.
Okay, so this will be Resolution R-209-19, selection of council representative to planning board. Whereas a nomination was made by Council President Pellegrin and seconded by Council Member Wetchler to name Council Member Ingley as council representative to the planning board. Now therefore be it resolved that Council Member Ingley is hereby named the council representative to the planning board for the remainder of the year of 2019.
Need a motion.
Do we need a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Dombrowski, Pellegrin, call the roll, please.
Council members Ballasteri?
Yes.
Dombrowski?
Yes.
Ingwe?
Yes.
Wetchler?
Yes.
Council President Pellegrin?
Yes.
Motion carries. That concludes my agenda, Mayor.
Congratulations, young lady. Now you're Wednesday.
Yeah, sure. Excuse me, before we adjourn, I would just like to, because I have to step down from the Finance Committee and bills have to be signed, I'd just like to appoint Councilwoman Ingwe to the Finance Committee, just so that we're able to, is that the right person? It could work, right? Yeah, just I'd like to make that public note, so you are now able to sign the bills where there are, so we have two signatures. May I have a motion to adjourn this meeting?
Second.
Wetchler, Dombrowski, call the roll, please.
Council members Ballasteri?
Yes.
Dombrowski?
Yes.
Ingwe? Yes. Wetchler? Yes. Council President Pellegrin?
Yes.
Motion carries. Meeting is adjourned
Thank you all.
at 10:03.
No. Yours goes.